The rain had just started to fall in New York City, thin, cold needles cutting through the late evening air. Inside a dimly lit used bookstore on the corner of 42nd Street, a young man named Daniel sat slouched against the wooden shelves, staring at a torn resume in his hands. He had been in America for 5 years. 5 long years filled with odd jobs: dishwashing, moving furniture, delivering food, yet success seemed like a cruel stranger who always passed him by. He was 28, broke, and on the edge of losing the little hope he carried. That night, as thunder rolled outside, Daniel's eyes fell on a dusty, leather-bound book wedged between forgotten encyclopedias. Its cover was cracked, the gold lettering nearly faded, the Book of Those Who Tried. He pulled it out, sneezed as the dust clouded, and opened to the first page. This is not a book of fiction. It is a book of lives. Every failure recorded here belongs to someone who rose again. Daniel frowned. The words felt alive. He flipped the pages. Inside were handwritten stories, each signed with a name, a date, and sometimes even a photograph. Stories of immigrants, dreamers, failures turned winners. A Mexican man who sold tacos from a cart before building a chain of restaurants. A single mother who cleaned offices but later owned a real estate company. A college dropout who went bankrupt 3 times before becoming a millionaire tech investor. Daniel whispered, "What is this?" The shopkeeper, an old man with gray hair and sharp eyes, suddenly appeared behind him. "That book," he said, "finds people. Not the other way around." Daniel laughed nervously. "Finds people?" The shopkeeper leaned closer. "You wouldn't have seen it unless it wanted to be seen. Everyone who writes their story in that book, discovers their own secret to success." That night, Daniel took the book home. He couldn't sleep. Every story pulled him deeper. The struggles felt raw, the victories almost impossible yet real. He reached a blank page at the back. A pen was tucked inside the binding. Across the top, in elegant handwriting, were the words, "Your turn." Daniel's chest tightened. Should he? What would he even write? He wasn't successful. He wasn't even close. But something inside whispered, "Start anyway." He wrote about arriving from Ohio with nothing but 2 suitcases. About his mother's sacrifice, about being fired, scammed, rejected. About the depression he hid from friends. He wrote until tears blurred the ink. When he finished, he closed the book and set it on the nightstand. The next morning, the book was gone. Life didn't magically change overnight. But something inside Daniel shifted. He woke up with a strange determination. That week, he applied for jobs with more confidence. He walked into interviews as if he belonged in the room. Within 2 weeks, he landed an entry-level marketing position at a small firm in Brooklyn. Months passed. He worked tirelessly, absorbing everything, volunteering for tasks no one else wanted. Slowly, he rose. Yet the memory of the book haunted him. Was it just imagination, some old trick, or was it real? 1 year later, Daniel was walking home late when he saw a homeless teenager sitting under a bridge, shivering with a cardboard sign, "Hungry. Will work." Daniel stopped. Something tugged at his heart. He bought the boy food, sat beside him, and listened. His name was Miguel. He was 16, an undocumented immigrant who had lost his parents. Daniel remembered himself 5 years ago, alone, desperate, hopeless. The next morning, Daniel gave Miguel a chance at the firm as an intern. It wasn't illegal or easy, but Daniel helped him with paperwork, guided him, and pushed him to finish school. Miguel thrived. He was brilliant with design, and soon his work caught the attention of bigger clients. Within 3 years, Miguel became Daniel's business partner. One evening, as they celebrated their first $1 million contract, Daniel returned home to find a package on his doorstep. No name. No return address. Just the same cracked leather binding. The book. Hands trembling, he opened it. His story was there, written exactly as he remembered. But below it, a continuation appeared in unfamiliar handwriting. And when he lifted another from the dust, he discovered the true secret: success is never about the one who climbs, it is about how many you take with you. Daniel froze. The words burned into his soul. He flipped further. New pages had been filled. Stories of others he had helped. Miguel's story. His employees. Even strangers he had inspired unknowingly. The realization crashed into him: the book wasn't about money, titles, or fame. It was about legacy. Years later, Daniel became known in New York not just as a successful entrepreneur, but as a man who gave opportunities to those society had forgotten: immigrants, ex-prisoners, single mothers, addicts. Each life he touched seemed to appear in the book. It kept returning, always when he needed reminding. And one final night, when Daniel was old and gray, the book appeared on his desk once more. The last page was blank. The pen was waiting. He wrote slowly, his hands shaking, "I thought success was something you achieve. But now I know it's something you pass on. If you're reading this, don't chase wealth alone. Chase impact. That is the real secret to success." The next morning, the book was gone forever. But Daniel's story remained living, not in pages, but in people. Ending note: the old book never belonged to anyone. It belonged to everyone. And somewhere, in another dusty bookstore, on another rainy night, it waits, for the next lost soul searching for the secret to success.